Blah. Blah, 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 blah. Warning. The following program is recorded live and is not intended for children. This program may contain dark and graphic content that may be distressing for some viewers and against the terms of service for most mainstream platforms. The themes and opinions expressed in this program should be considered entirely fictional and should not be used for political or academic purposes. Facts are not checked, and no sources or citations will be provided. Should you choose to redistribute, please do so only in good faith. Thank you again for joining us. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome back to Rainbows and Razor Blades, a show from the void. By the Gregorian calendar, it is currently the 13th day in the third month, the month of March, in the year of the Lord 2023. By the French Revolutionary calendar, it is currently the 23rd day in the month of Ventos, the month of wind. On today's episode of Rainbows and Razor Blades, we're probably going to read some headlines, but first I think I'm just going to babble about where my life has been. So, not that it's the world's business or that anybody cares, but just because it's an interesting archival tool for my own retrospective look back at where I've come from, you know? I was going through my life, and I realized that, like, a while back, that part of the autistic process to make sure that I'm safe is to really, really, really plan and prepare ahead. And in order to do that, I have to, like, clear space. I have to turn the forest into a pasture, into a field. I have to prepare it for growth, right, for harvest. I can just let it be natural, and I like that sometimes, but there's a lot of space that I do clear for emotional agriculture, we'll call it. And I found out that, like, my partner, no diss against them, needed to become my former partner because they were taking up such an amount of space that they weren't asking for or being needy towards. It's just that that's the role that they were playing, and that if I didn't shrink that down, that they were going to start eclipsing, as they did last year, and this was not a bad thing last year, they were going to start eclipsing some of the new growth that I have planned. And last year, the growth that I had planned was very much with them. And so I straight up told them that. I was like, we need to de-escalate. Like, we need to take certain parts of our relationship, and that's going to be the last time that certain things will happen. Like, I don't want to say certain things anymore in certain ways. I don't want certain responses from you. I can't limit your behavior, and I'm not going to punish you if, like, unless you try to get annoying. But, in good faith, like, we need to step this down. And, like, that has been a hard process. And so you can see I have not uploaded in a while because I have been devoting all that energy to them. And that hasn't been a bad thing, but, going into this next season especially, like, I think what the other part of it is that they have a separate life, right? Like, this part of our chapters this winter, we, like, pretty much survived together. Like, I was more codependent to them than they were to me. Like, I'm also dependent on them for things like food preparation, literally just going to the store to get food, etc. Like, those are the two necessary things to keep me alive, and, like, I don't really have other help with that. Yeah. So giving that up is also something that really came to my mind. I was like, wow, we have really grown together as a couple. And this next season, I won't be able to grow more with you as a couple. And things will not be able to stay the same. And so where do you go from there? Like, we're figuring that out as we go. Like, we're both mature about it. It's just, I don't know. There's no role models I can look to. There's no Drake and Josh episode. It's not exactly a Disney princess paradigm shift from I will marry you and we'll live happily ever after. Like, but this is kind of the opposite. This is like, there's not really a game book for this, especially because we're both queer. There's many numerous factors. Everyone's relationship is very nuanced and different. But in this instance, I think, as with most, communication has been and will continue to be key. And we're both just feeling through things. And, like, it's not to say that there won't be hard feelings or that we might not be frustrated with certain parts of things. I'm not, at least as of now. They might be a little bit, which, like, okay. Like, it's like, but we're not going to get in fights. We're not going to, like, abuse each other. We're not going to insult each other. We're not going to do the bickering that I've seen in, like, the archetypal representation of a breakup in common, like, mainstream media. We're just not going to do it. So, yeah, so that's just kind of a quick look into the lives of what I'm doing. We also want to go play this game where we go to normie bars, and ask like random people, have you seen my cousin? And then they're gonna describe me. Oh, I'm looking for my cousin. It's her birthday. I'm looking for my cousin. It's her birthday. And then when we find each other, people be like, oh, I found your cousin. I found your cousin. And I'll be like, oh, and we'll give each other a big hug, and then we'll like keep hugging, and then we'll start kissing. And people will be like shocked, right? They won't know what to do with it. I also want to run the same experiment with brother sister, just to fuck with people, just like really fuck with people. Or just like another annoying one that I want to run is like we've moved topics, by the way. This is not going to drift back. I'm just rambling at this point, and we're about to take a quick break, so be prepared for that. But I think it's really funny that it's people's perceptions of things that are kind of the most important, not even necessarily the truth. I mean, the truth is definitely important, don't get me wrong. But if that person goes home and tells their friend, like, I saw these two fucking sister and brothers kissing, it was fucked up, and the friend will be like, wow, that is fucked up. But maybe neither of them would think, oh, it was literally just two weird queer people just lying for the hell of it. You really think people would do that? Just go out in the real world and tell lies? We'll be right back after this. The 300th time you go for your morning run, like you're not even considering whether or not that you brought your inhaler or not. You know it's in your pocket, and you know exactly how far you're going to run, and you know what you're going to see along the way. You know your body's going to feel when you get back. You know what the shower will feel like when you get home. You know probably what you'll eat after that. But if you have none of that, and you're just thinking like, I don't even know where my shoes are, then all of the steps and all of the processing power that you would have had to had otherwise spent preparing agriculture space to grow the task of doing jogging now is allocated to just like literally fucking finding your shoes. Like, and I know that sounds crazy, it really does, but you got to understand that like there's no differentiation of like task difficulty. Like you could tell me like fix the microscope, and I could say like no problem. I have to learn how to fix the microscope, but like no problem. You could tell me like make toast, and I'd be like no problem. And to me, those are equal. Those are equal things, right? Like they're equal difficulty to me. One may take a little longer to learn, but here's what's interesting. There are certain things out there that are outright disabled. Like if you tell me solve the math homework, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, what grade? Well, second grade. I'll be like, yeah, I got you. And I'll be able to do the math homework. But you tell me, do the math homework. And I'll say, okay, what grade? And you say, eighth grade. And I'll say, whoa, dude, like that. Whoa, dude. That's starting to get to the point where they start drawing lines above and below things. Like, that's a problem for me. Like, I don't understand math at that level. I can't conceptualize what the numbers are doing because it's just my brain doesn't keep that type of information in it. It just doesn't. I don't know why. But it isn't just math that's missing, right? Like, people are like, really, Sarah? Really, priestess? Math is missing? You're telling me that you can't do any math? And it's like, not only am I telling you that, it's that, but it's worse because it isn't just math. It's the way that information itself is arranged so chaotically, right? Or where there is order, it doesn't appear to be similar to the order that other people describe when they describe that they have in order two things in their head, right? For example, I didn't realize that I was dyslexic because when people describe dyslexia to me, at least in the past, they had described, well, when I see a word, sometimes the letters move around, and I'm autistic, so I interpreted that quite fucking literally, and I've never like hallucinated, so I just assumed that like they would like see things like moving around, and like you're looking at a page, but it's like hard to read the words. Right? I didn't realize that like my brain is extremely dyslexic. I parse words in paragraphs, but I'm not speed reading. I'm just looking at things. The way that a speed reader takes in all that information and just like their eyes just kind of move down the page, right? Like a really competent reader, and they just soak in the information and they just know the order of things, right? A really good speed reader also, in my experience, can be a pretty darn good editor. I have found that with a lot of like, it's not rehabilitation, it's a different type of intelligence. It's like comparing an octopus to a bird. They can both solve the same maze or the same like tool project that like the scientist gives it in the box, but who the fuck knows if they're doing it in a similar way? Like, first of all, they're different organisms, but I mean like just the way that the brain is interpreting reality. Like, mine does not seem to be similar. It seems to be similar enough in that I'm human and that I'm doing the thing, but like everything else, man, like does not seem to be similar. It's like those weird savant shows where like those geniuses can memorize like 30 million different digits of pi out into infinity and like calculate any date. Like, my brain is the same as that. I just don't have a 180 IQ. I have like a 105 IQ. I'm average intelligence for the most part. Like, I'm still center bell curve, and actually not worse than that, but in addition to just being average, I'm also disabled because like I go to the supermarket, right, and the dyslexia starts up, so I can't even tell. Like, I'll reach for a box and I'm like, I don't think that was the box I reached for. But that thought is also mixed with like, have you seen the ADHD simulators on like TikTok? And then there's always like the top comment is always some asshole who's like, that's schizophrenia. It's like, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Get on Pimazon. Take Pervitin. We're gonna get banned if we keep talking. So, I digress. So it's really hard for me, and like in addition to that, again, the dyslexic problem of just like shit. Like I literally can't read basic black and white text on a box. That's hard enough for me. All these numbers. Then you add in like pictures of characters, and it's no wonder, right? Like, because they're marketing to like, and I say this politely, they're marketing to illiteracy. They're trying to give you an image of the thing you're buying so that even people like me who are fundamentally illiterate, well, I'm not fundamentally illiterate, but like I may as well be functionally illiterate. Like, people are like, well, have you read the label? Like, no. Have I read anything in my life? Like, no. Like, I used to, when I was like 15 and angry, read through like, man, I probably shouldn't admit to this on the internet, but I'm going to. I used to read old 1980s defense manuals, right? I used to read old 1940s, like, who knows if they're real, but like old, what they called the OSS training manuals, right? Like, these are things that are like readily available on the internet, whether it's the real deal or not. I'm 15. I don't give a fuck. I'm still reading something more interesting than anything I'm reading in school. So what the hell do I care, right? By the time I was like 25 and I was like, I will not admit to the things that I was reading at that time, I realized that my brain was having trouble taking in information because everyone else around me was not even similar to me. And the people who were similar to me didn't appear to have these problems. I also noticed it because I'm an editor. Like, I became an editor because I figured out that I read not just slowly, I read differently. And basically, I've never read a book in my life. Like, I get completely burnt out because I have to word by word, because otherwise, and you hear me reading the headlines, and how many times does what comes out of my mouth not at all match the headline? You're like, this person's an idiot. This person literally can't even read and doesn't even know the names that they're speaking about. But then you listen to me talk a little more and you realize, like, not only am I an idiot, I'm also a whack job. So at least you get some good information on that front, if not the intellectual stuff. So it isn't even just the dyslexia either. Like, I have been looking at the keyboard, like GABCDEF, GABCDEF. I wrote all of it. I wrote on every single key on my keyboard to try to learn music theory. And I realized that, like, unfortunately, despite the fact that I have like a natural inclination towards tune and towards like good music, and like I hear it in my head, and I mean all sorts of genres, anything I've ever heard, and even some things I've never heard before and would want to create, I've heard it. I hear it in my head. Right? And if people don't believe me, then like, I mean, go watch the fact that I play even a little bit of guitar. The fact is, I'm just as disabled at that as I am with everything else. So like, you're not getting like pristine like bass nectar music. You're getting like chiptune, but it's bad. So I give up. I get frustrated. I can't build the routine into my life any more than I can build getting up and taking a shower. Now, thankfully, I am not an incel. No offense to incels. that don't shower, right? Smelly butthole men at every single place that they are, but like a convention or like a tournament, you know what I'm talking about. Like those dudes have trouble with routine, right? They have executive dysfunction. Okay, now thankfully, again, I like showers. I do. So I shower every day. Like, you say my hair's wet. That's what I do. I take one of the first things I do is I wake up and I check my phone. Like, why wouldn't I? I'm a cyborg. It's like you'd have to be an idiot to not check your phone in the morning. Or like some sort of religious woo belief and I'm so calm and it has helped my mental health. Great for fucking you. So I stay on top of things, right? I make sure shit's not on fire in my communities. I make sure that, if things are on fire, that the fires can get put out. And then I put my phone back down and I usually go back and take like a small little dreaming nap. And when I'm done with that, I wake up and sometimes I check my phone again. Sometimes I do not. But eventually what happens is I usually do check my phone. I usually just watch garbage. I just let my brain wake up. I take in as much information as I can. I scroll through TikTok. I scroll through Reddit. I scroll through Instagram. I scroll through every single thing that you could like possibly tell me is unhealthy in the comment section is unhealthy. And I take all of it in. And then I go into my trance in my shower and I process emotionally my own trauma, my own life. It didn't used to be that. It used to just be that I would just like use it as stimulus. Like it's like the opposite of being overwhelmed. It's the opposite of the bright lights of the noise, cashiers fucking beep 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 beep, the carts clankety clank, old people smell at the supermarket, right? A bunch of different foods, everything's lit up, pictures of things. I'm like, what the fuck? Numbers everywhere, people randomly moving around in space. I'm pretty good at navigating it now. I've had practice, but like it is disorienting. It is overwhelming. The shower is the opposite of that. The shower is like, oh my god, and I love it, and I've always loved it. I have always felt that way about it. And I'm very blessed to still have it. Actually, I'm spoiled if you think about it. Very spoiled, in fact. So every morning I spoil myself with a trance and a shower, and I smoke sometimes. And I relax, and I prepare for the morning. And it really helps. Then I do this. This is just what I do, because I've been doing this for 4.5 years. We have been uploading for like maybe 1 full year, and then I think the vlog has been running for like I think another 8 months before this. And this had been going for quite a while. Maybe I'll upload an early clip of like some of the first I've ever done. Episode 93 was always the meme. There was this thing where I would always just say this is episode 93, but it was who knows what episode it was. Now we're well over episode 300, 400, whatever we're on. I have no idea what we're on. I don't keep track like that. I'm not that organized yet. It's not part of the routine. So while I'm still trying to build this routine out, I also have the new season's about to drop. It's about to be spring. Spring flower's about to drop, bro. Anyways, let's read the news. You snooze, you lose if you don't read the news. First, we gotta go to studio mode. Program and preview. Wow, they added a program and preview. Oh, I like that a lot. It didn't used to say that. That makes that a lot more obvious. That's why I always put the lid on. Not to advertise, sorry. I wasn't trying to sell ad space there. And certainly not for that brand of sugar garbage. No apology whatsoever to sugar garbage drinkers. My friend, it's hilarious. The person that I used to grief the most over her sugar habit, because she was a soda addict, which, like, to be fair, how could you not be a soda addict growing up somewhere like New York City? Seriously, everywhere you look is soda. You get on the train, soda. You billboard, soda. Back of some dude's bumper sticker, soda. Every single restaurant you go to, soda. Everything, fast food, soda. Get off a train, soda. Everyone's like, oh, someone's drinking a soda. Fucking everywhere you walk, people are just throwing that shit on the ground. Soda bar, soda bar, soda bar. Shit's everywhere. Hyper normalized. It's fucked up. And people get extremely fat, extremely unhealthy, and they die of heart attacks, and they die young. And it's bad, and it's getting worse. And people aren't talking about it because it's still getting worse. So they're like, oh, maybe we'll deal with this in 40 years in a lawsuit. But, like, I doubt it. And they've already had to address it in lawsuits. They've already had to take it out of the schools. They've already had to, like, adapt. Anyway, so she was addicted to soda. I am so proud of this girl. She's not even a girl anymore. She's a grown-ass woman now. She got a cat. She got an apartment. She got sexy hair now. She used to have, like, kind of normie hair. Now it's like bright colors. I won't say which color to dox her probably, but yeah, I mean, super proud of her. Master's degree, drives her own car. I taught her to drive. I'm proud of that. But like, she has actually hit the point where she got as far as I possibly thought she could not ever get, but as far as I thought she could get with me assisting her and helping her and just being like, I support you. Now I'm like, I can't help you get a house with a backyard. Like, that's adult shit, man. Like, I have no experience. I can't teach you any of that. Like, I can teach you to drive. I cannot teach you how to maintain a fucking mortgage, man. Like, that's That's a routine that would take me as long as trying to figure out how to fuck with a microscope. Even if it feels the same as toast. So good luck to me making toast. All right. 4-year-old accidentally shot. Jesus. Killed by 3-year-old sister in Houston area home. So the question there is, what the fuck did the 4-year-old do to piss off the 3-year-old that bad? I'm waiting to get canceled. No, that's obviously not. That's obviously not the appropriate response to that. Like, there's a gun control issue in this country, and the reason it's always the top story on Reddit is because like that story is profoundly and overwhelmingly preventable. You eliminate one factor, just one, the gun. That's it. This doesn't happen. Now, I am not over here making that argument personally, because personally I don't give a fuck. I don't have a 4-year-old. So like, oh no, some 4-year-old got shot by a gun. I don't give a shit. Oh no, it's such a tragedy. What the fuck do I care? I could care less, right? So now, does that mean because I care less that it's okay to not take the guns away? Does it mean that because I don't care, it's okay to just let them have guns? Again, I don't care. I don't care. But there is a question of gun availability, right? Responsible gun ownership, liability, culpability, lawsuits. There's a lot of different factors to this thing. Legislation, right? The other thing, we're gonna have to click it because we have to. Oh no, Houston home. So it's Texas. Texas is only interesting that this happened because it's one of the most laissez-faire, pro Second Amendment states, and it's kind of its own republic. Low key, they kind of had their own like standing army, huge amount of land, very different water system down there. Like, they are their own fucking country for all intents and purposes. Like, if World War III started and they also had civil war in my country, Texas would be its own fucking republic. Like, make no mistake, it'd probably be a theocracy too. But anyways, part of that plays into the like extremism out there with guns. You want to talk about like taking people's guns away? Like, talk about taking people's guns away in the 1800s. Good fucking luck with those arguments, right? Men walking around in the middle of nowhere trying to shoot bears and shit to death. You're talking about, oh, you're not allowed because some fucking 4-year-old somewhere else in some other state might get shot, right? Invalid argument. And the only reason that people can make the argument against the guns in this era is because of how like abdicated of responsibility we have just given to our mundane routines. We're talking about today's episode is about routine. So anyway, if part of your routine is just leaving your gun like in a closet or something with no lock, and then the 4-year-old goes in and then just like, oh, you're a little 3-year-old, you should try, and then oh, you're dead. Like, we're not going to get any more details. They're not going to tell us anyone was arrested. They're just going to tell us it's under investigation and that it happened. So it's not going to be a race issue. It's not going to be a poverty issue. It's usually a drugs problem, and usually that drug problem means poverty. But we are not going to see that in this article. It won't say that. It is just going to say it's going to be ambiguous. Everything about it's going to be ambiguous. 4-year-old died. She was shot by her 3-year-old sister in a Houston home area. The shooting happened Sunday evening in an apartment complex in some place that we'll look up the demographics of another time. Actually, we won't. I don't even care that much. Somehow, the 3-year-old got a hold of a loaded semi-automatic pistol and accidentally shot. It's not somehow. It's kind of obvious. It's left around, you know, and like, who you gotta think, who are the types of people that are gonna leave that type of gun? Is it gonna be like meth heads, gangsters, like degenerates of any other variety, like total terroristic, like skinhead type, all the guns, all the hoopla, we don't know, and they're not gonna tell us. So, but the point is again, you eliminate that one factor and you take it away from all of those people. You also got to take it away from like Mr. Clean, Mr. Perfect, literally the cops when they go home, right? And even just restriction, right, is dangerous in that regard, because we'll say that is appropriate, right, to like issue a license the way that like fucking New York tries to like overexert its authority and do, or well, according to the Supreme Court, overextend its authority. If you ask me, they should be a communist. And I'm doing this because someone has to clip it and then put the theme song from like Russia, bum 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 bum, or whatever. Anyways. Packers Sanitation Services pays fines for employing children. Was that a meatpacking plant? Like, I see the word Packers, but I don't know. It's like a sanitation services company that put children to work in meatpacking. Yeah, so what was his name? This is not the same case. This is a new case, but there was already a Jewish dude who was named Rabashkin, Shalom Rabashkin. Go look up that fucking name if you want to hear about the story. We already talked about it last episode, so I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole again. Are we on hot? Yeah, we're on hot. We got to go to top news. Top news stories today. Regulators close New York's Signature Bank, citing systemic risk. What's a signature bank? It's crypto. Ooh, you know what? Let's check BTC price. That's another thing I usually do as my routine. Interesting. It's up. That's actually what I expected. Yep, it's up. Because people are reading about this news and they're thinking to themselves, like, it's happening. It's happening. The institution itself is fucking mortified that this could be legitimate, and it will legitimize itself and actually probably become, at least in some way, the gold, right? The gold standard of cryptocurrency, right? Like, I don't think that will last, but I also don't think it's happened yet. Like, has Bitcoin hit the moon? I don't think so. I think if you buy in now, and I could be wrong, don't take this as advice. The financial advice I give with Bitcoin buy and sell as of now, I'm very good at it, and I've been doing it for a decade. And so I very rarely will tell people when to sell and buy. Very rarely, because I think that holding is the position, right? That's the position. People always watch. Oh, it went up $600. Priestess, should I sell? It's like I literally won't respond to those types of inquiries. I don't respond. If you want to get on the short list of when I tell you to sell, I promise no one has lost money yet. Let's just put it that way. No one who has followed me has lost any money yet. However, and this is a big however, the price rally of the last time that it went 27,000, and that is 27,000, not 2,700, I did not anticipate, right? The littler bumps in between I've anticipated, and I'm actually anticipating a bigger bump back up to the 300 eventually, but 30,000 coming up. But we also saw a dip to 19,000 rather recently. And I was caught a little bit off guard because I had not I set the buy point at 21. So people could, if they sold, and some people did, and they were holding a full Bitcoin, they would have lost about $2,000 of their gains, which would have pushed their gains into mostly net neutrals. Which, like, honestly, if your investor is getting you net neutral, that's not terrible in this economy. But I'm trying to appreciate assets, and I'm pretty fucking good at knowing when to sell and buy. Anyways, enough of bragging about me and my cryptocurrency know-how. But it makes a lot of sense that this is going up. I'm just talking shit, by the way. Crypto bros hate it. Hate it when you just lie about crypto. They hate it. They hate it, and they actually want to assassinate you. U.S. regulators bail out SVB customers who can access all their money Monday. SVB? What the hell is SVB? This is clickbait. Or am I an idiot? Silicon Valley Bank. Yeah, good luck with that. California, good luck with that. Indentured servitude. Nurses hit with hefty debt when trying to leave hospitals. Yeah, that's probably unlawful. Um, I mean, that should go without saying, but apparently it doesn't. But the thing is while it is probably unlawful, it's the type of thing you actually do have to fight in court unless legislation is passed to say that, like, you don't have to fight it in court. It's already illegal for them to do this. But if there's no legislation, then it's just like they're counting on the fact that you'll have to fight them on it. HCA is short for Run Faster. When she took the job at Thousand Oaks, California hospital owned by HCA, oh, they're just trying to shame the people. I don't care about that. Law firms do this too. My wife was working in marketing at one, and we specifically insisted to be stricken from her contract before hire, as she didn't/wouldn't need to receive the training, incur the expenses that lawyers themselves often do. Shit should be illegal. Are they talking about the scam where basically, like, oh, we're going to give you training. It's going to cost you $20,000, but we're going to pay for it. Don't worry. Sign here. Right? But what you don't see is that you're also signing a bullet point under that says if you leave before the term of this contract is over, you will be liable for that training. And that training can be as stupid as, like, oh hey guys, today's a pizza party. You don't learn anything. You're not. It's indentured servitude. It puts you in debt to your work. Hence the word servitude and indentured. Uh, I am not reading all this right now. Sorry, I'm not. Someone sent me a text. Nope. I've been a nurse for 30 years and I've been everywhere, man. Not one time did I ever receive my full orientation/training. We're swamped. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need to take a full assignment. They throw you right in the sink or swim. I don't know where they got the numbers for the cost of a new nurse, probably from the terminal end of the alimentary canal. Wow. All right. Sorry, I'm just changing a couple settings. You know it's a terrible place to work when they impose financial penalties for leaving. Yeah. Anyways, we'll move on. Dow futures jump 250 points as regulators announce backstop to SVB depositors. Live update. This could be another reason for Bitcoin being up, but like, who knows? Federal Reserve rules out. I love how like all of the financial news is like hitting the news all like very suspiciously at the same time, as if it's almost a one-party state on Reddit. That all is from the same media gestalt. Interesting. Very interesting. Today's theme of the day is financial news. Federal Reserve rolls out emergency measures to prevent banking crisis. These are just like the dumbest alarmist headlines. Like we all know it's fake. Like, oh no, like some fucking fake crypto bank crashed. Oh no. Insurers slashed Hurricane Ian payouts far below damage estimates. Documents and insiders reveal. I mean, isn't that their prerogative as an insurance company? Like, the idea of being an insurance company isn't to pay for every single thing that gets wrecked. It's to not pay. No offense or no apology for insurance companies that are, fucking people over, but I don't know. It doesn't say that any lawsuits have been filed or anything. It just had a paywall, so we're not going to read it. 8 dead, 7 missing after boat capsizes off San Diego coast. Were they migrants? At least 8 people were killed when... Yep, they were migrants. What a fucked up era we live in. Israeli teacher's racist WhatsApp chat caught by pupils. Israeli teacher, huh? Were they an Israeli teacher, or were they a teacher in Israel? They were a teacher, I would assume, given this picture, in Israel. Israeli educator... Oh my god. Israeli education minister has apologized to Ethiopian Israeli schoolgirls whose teachers mocked them in a WhatsApp group on a school trip. This is a so non-story that I just don't care about. The Serbian who inspired U.S. Capitol rioters then emigrated to Texas. Whatever. Large group in Mexico attempted mass entry into U.S. at El Paso, Texas border crossing. Did it work? And how large are we talking? Do we have a picture of this? They're probably not going to show us on CNN. Oh, wow. They are definitely showing not even probably 1/5 of how many there actually were. Like, this is like how many people you think are here. Like, maybe at most 200. Here, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so this right here, this is about probably 30 people. So then this is probably another like 40 to 50 people. And then this is probably another like 60 to 80 people. So this is probably like at most, and this is a generous 200. My best guess is that this could be anywhere from like let's see the number. Yeah, here's more like, yeah, see. But even that's probably they're not giving us a number. Notice they're not giving us a number. Cuz like here's the thing. The border people, right, have like high definition. They've probably identified half these people and trying to figure out which one the coyotes are using facial recognition. They're looking at everything, right? They're like, "Oh, how many of them are armed? Are any of them known drug mules? Like, are any of them wanted in Mexico? Or they're trying to figure out who people are, right? So they have telescopic lenses, right? Really powerful telescopic lenses that will take hundreds of thousands of pictures and then aggregate them into like larger, literally larger than life DPI like massive screens that then algorithms will run through and figure out exactly how many people were there, and then you can actually isolate different types of people, like persons of interest, and then like you can like grayscale out everybody else. It'll just like erase them, and then it'll just show those people getting tracked through, and it'll show little dots on the screen of where they've been, where they came from, which direction they were moving, what time they were there with time signatures. So like the fact that they're not giving us that information, like they don't want us to know. They're just, oh, basic picture of a crowd. That's what's happening. A crowd is there. Because we're not law enforcement. And CNN is a fucking lying group of shitheads. They don't want us to know how many fucking people are coming across. Because it's a lot more than is in those pictures. Like, a lot more. And like, what's the government really going to do? We're going to start like a literal fucking shootout war? We're going to start going live ammo on these women and children and mostly grown men? I don't think so. Maybe someday, but I don't think so. The build the wall meme is liable to come back pretty soon, I think. Human remains found in I don't care. U.S. officials weigh protecting all deposits at Silicon Valley Bank. We already, well, I guess we didn't already read that. I guess we saw into the future with that one. COVID vaccine doses go to waste in Switzerland amid huge stockpile. No one needs the vaccine at this point. Like, the people who, like, need the vaccine, like, they also are getting the vaccine. It's not like people are being deprived of the vaccine, so who gives a fuck? California levee breaches amid storms. Second atmospheric river on the way. Yeah, someone was telling me about this like atmospheric river hoopla, and like I just didn't care, and I still don't. Death of twin baby boy. But if you want to look up something cool, go look up the atmospheric river, because it is pretty cool. It's like it's what it sounds like. It's just like a huge amount of water moving around. Death of twin baby boy after suspected kidnapping is ruled a sudden unexplained infant death, Ohio coroner says. It's a weird title. Charles Schwab shares head for worst day ever. Dropped 20% as fear. I see. The banking crisis intensifies. First Republic stock halted as banks wobble from SVB collapse despite Fed backstop. Who the fuck cares about the First Republic stock? That's just like a headline. That's like, oh my god, guys, everyone panic and sell your fucking money and get Bitcoin. Gary Liker to return to air as BBC announces review of guidelines. What did he say that got him kicked off again? Was that the guy I'm thinking of? I don't want to repeat it if it's not. But I'm pretty sure this is the dude that they kicked off for saying something. An independent review of social media guidelines focusing on how it applies to freelancers. He takes Twitter to say he is immeasurably proud to work with BBC and cannot wait to get back to the thing. But wait, are they going to say why they got rid of him? Oh, return to football coverage. Okay, I have no idea what the hell this is about. This is not the thing I was thinking of. I thought it was a dude who said something on... I'm not even going to mention it. It's a different dude. Dozens of people reported missing in Mediterranean after vessel capsizes. In Mediterranean. Is this immigrants? What is this about? The Mediterranean? From Libya to Italy. It's immigrants, but it's nothing to do with the United States. That makes sense. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, this is like a non-issue to me. This may be even like Libya to... Yeah, this is just migration. It's crazy. UK approves increased submarine-related exports to Taiwan, risking angering China. Whatever. Spartan child. The fact that they're like saying this publicly is not reflective of any policy. Spartan child allegedly left on daycare bus for 5 hours. That's really funny. I've had that happen. I'm the autistic kid that has been there in the garage, like parking lot. Kindergarten. The parents of a child who was allegedly left on a bus for 5 hours in northern Victoria say their families, blah, blah, blah. To help prevent tragedies, let the kid die? I mean, it is a tragedy. Like, oh, it's a tragedy. He was left on a bus for 5 hours. Gets buckled into her seat every day on a daycare shuttle bus before waving her off. That afternoon, her mom, Sky drove the kids, blah, 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 phone rang. As soon as I answered the phone, I had a bad gut feeling. Aw, cute little white family. Aw, a weird shirtless picture of a girl. I don't really understand what that one's about. Like this dude, POV, this dude shows up because he's pissed that your kid's locked on a bus. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about this story anymore. North Korea tests submarine-launched missile. What? What the fuck does North Korea have a fucking submarine? Yeah, I mean, I guess they do. I don't know. Vietnam, they probably have like they're a proxy state. I don't know. Not much to say. Vietnam to greet a bunch of people. My God, today was the most boring news in the world. I don't even like want to talk about it. Like there was literally nothing that I gave a fuck about today in today's news at all. It's like, oh, the bank's really falling apart now, guys. It's really happening, man. The recession is real, man. Sorry, I'm filling out space. We've only been live for like 40 minutes, but like to be honest, this episode's just like it didn't suck. It's just like the news was so boring. I don't even think I have anything else to talk about. Like it's 1 o'clock. I think I'm just gonna go get food. We'll be back again another time. Thanks for joining, guys. I'm done.